Hey everybody, I'm Todd and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and welcome to my life. Alright everybody, so I've been talking about doing a build for a doctor friend of mine here for the past few months on the channel. I have chosen the woods that I plan to use for this build. I've changed a few things. I got a new set, a new top set from C. Jacobs Woods, and it completely changed my mind about what I'm going to do on this guitar. So I've chosen all the woods. I've spent pretty much all night last night. I worked all day yesterday. I got home. I came straight down here, got my table saw set up, and I started dimensioning down some lumber. First of all, let's talk about this neck blank. Another multi-laminate neck, you guys. I'm a fan. It's the way I like to roll, so you guys know that by now. This is a 5-piece neck with 4 pieces of veneer in it as well. It is quarter sawn hard maple. I've got 2 pieces of myrtle, straight grain quarter sawn myrtle, and then in the very center I've got a small strip of Murado that I have cut very carefully on the table saw to make sure I left that black streak down the middle of it. This will be the back of the neck. On the front, I've left pretty much plain, other than the fact that, you know, we will get some coloration and some interesting visual impact from the fact that I'm using a 5-piece neck, and I used both dark and light veneer on this neck blank, and we'll talk about that when I pan down and we get ready to glue this thing up, which we're about to do. But I wanted to run through the woods that I've chosen to use on this build, let you guys check that out. I got a couple other things I want to talk to you about before we go any further, and then we'll make some headway on this thing. First of all, I started thinking yesterday while I was down here cutting all this wood down about how much time I spend editing and getting videos ready to be posted to YouTube. And I don't want the quality of my videos to suffer. I want those to improve. I don't want them to get worse. So what I've decided I'm going to do, you guys know I've already started the 7 of 9 build for my buddy Wes at work. It's going to be a Telly-inspired build, somewhat like the giveaway build. I'm using different woods on it. I'm going to do some different carving techniques and things like that. But it's ultimately still going to be a Telly-based design with a flat Fender-style neck on it. I'm starting with the Maximum Guitar Works Telly template for that body. What I've decided to do is give you guys updates as to where I am on the 7 of 9 build as we go through the Doctor's build. I think the Doctor's guitar is going to be a little bit more interesting. There's some things that I've never done before. This will be my first set neck guitar here at the shop. Everything else about that build that I announced before has changed. I said I was going to build a myrtle neck. Well, the neck's got myrtle in it, but I've decided to go with quarter sawn maple. I started thinking, instead of making a 1-piece neck out of that myrtle, I can cut that up and get a bunch of myrtle accents in a ton of different necks that I build here. And the coloration and the 3D silvery effect that that myrtle has, I think that's going to add some really killer visual impact on some multi-laminate necks as we go through the process of building some more guitars here on the channel. So that's what I decided to do. This guitar is going to be complicated enough, and I've also got my GGBO project that I'm about to begin here on April 1st. I've got the woods picked out for it as well. I'll show you guys all that stuff come April 1st. But on the 7 of 9 build, I still want you guys to see where I'm at throughout that build. But instead of posting full-length tutorial videos like I'm trying to do here on the channel, I am just going to give you updates as to where I'm at on that guitar, because some of those things are going to be getting done while I do the Doc's build, and it's going to be really hard for me to keep all that stuff separate and try to edit 3 different video series all at the same time. I'm by myself here, I don't have any help. So I will edit full-length build series for the Docks build and for my GGBO build. And as far as 7 of 9 goes, I'll keep you guys up to date as to where I am on that build. So far, all we've done is glued up the body blank. You guys have already seen that. I've got the neck blank lumber dimension down. I did that last night. And we'll talk about that as we go through this video, because I'm planning on gluing up the neck blank for the Docks build right here in just a second. And we'll go through the woods that I've chosen to use on 7 of 9 too. But this video will be the first video in a brand new series here on the channel of the Docks build. As it stands right now, I may name it the Figure 8 build. So let's refer to it as that for now until something hits me that suits the guitar better as we go. I want to name it something with 8 because I've got 7 of 9 build. That's my 7th scratch build. This build is my 8th scratch build. And then I want to do something with the number 9 on my GGBO build. And then after that, we'll stop with the number thing. I just thought it would be cool, since I'm doing all 3 of these guitars at the same time, to kind of tie them in together with some kind of creative naming process. So that's all it is. All right. Let's talk about the rest of these woods that I'm going to use for the Docks build. So I've already said it's going to be a set neck design. You guys already know, and you've heard me talk about, it's going to be a semi-hollow body. I've got what I think is a pretty creative way to go about chambering this guitar and helping guide the sound from the center of that guitar under the strings over to some ports, or what we will refer to as sound holes, either on the side or on the front of the guitar. And I'm thinking that I can accomplish this by using a combination of, what do they call them? Bowl and tray, I think is what they're called. They're the rounded router bits, and some carving chisels. I think I can get a chamber cut so there's a slot under the strings. I think this is pretty creative, and you guys can tell me if you know what you think about it, because I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. So cut 2 slots under the strings in roughly the center of the guitar. There will be corresponding channels underneath the top that feed the sound waves that come off those strings into a chamber. One goes left, one goes right. There will be an exit point on the top or the sides, or a combination of both, on the body to allow those sound waves to be somewhat amplified. That chamber that slot feeds into will grow in size with no dead corners in it, all rounded corners, and make its way over to where I port that particular chamber. And I'll do one on the left, like I said, one on the left and one on the right, or upper and lower part of the body. I'll show you guys more what I'm talking about once we get to the point that I'm starting to do these routes and the carves on this body. If nothing else, I think it's a creative way to go about trying to help amplify the sound on this guitar, because the Doc wants to be able to play this thing unplugged. I'm going to laminate or book match this piece of walnut right here. And you can see that's nicely flamed walnut. It's got some beautiful coloration in it. So I'm going to book match this. We'll joint this on the shooting board. And I thought this would make a killer headstock plate, especially considering what I'm going to use for the top wood. I am going to use this piece of Macassar ebony for the fretboard on this guitar, because I don't want all walnut, and you'll understand why momentarily. But this is a beautiful piece of Macassar ebony. It's got some light and dark going on here. And once I get this dimension down and surfaced, and we wipe this thing down with some oil, this fretboard, I have a feeling, is gonna be something amazing. So I'm really hoping so. If not, I've got another solid black piece of ebony over there. We'll use it if we have to. All right, so tops. I want to do something a little different. And I recently, as a matter of fact, Friday, I got a huge box from C. Jacobs Woods on Friday. I got wood for 3 2-piece alder body blanks. I wanted some different kind of wood in here other than poplar, maple, mahogany, padauk. I've got all those woods. So I asked Cyril at C. Jacobs Woods if he could send me some body blank material. And he said, oh man, I got some beautiful alder. You know, there are no knots in it. I will cut you some of that. And he said, by the way, if you're interested in that, I've got a ton of drops that I cut that he said would make killer guitar tops for laminating bodies. This is a piece of Pacific alder. This piece is about 1/4 inch thick. He sent me about 10 different top sets in varied thickness of this alder so I can use this between the main body wood and the book match top on some guitars so I can get some contrast going on. I'm going to reveal to you guys what I've decided to use for the top on this guitar. And this piece of wood right here is clean and beautiful. So you guys check this out. Look at that right there. This is curly walnut. I think it's Bastogne. I think it's what Cyril told me it was. But it is absolutely beautiful. It is rippled and curly. And I could literally, it's such a clean piece of wood, I could use either side of this thing. This is what's going on the Doc's guitar. So we've got a rippled, curly Bastogne walnut top, alder, and I may separate that by a sheet of dark veneer, and then we'll have the main part of the body. So that's going to thicken up that body a little bit. I think that's going to give me a little bit of extra thickness so I can, again, maximize that volume on this guitar. So what I want to do right now is get this neck blank glued up. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys this one thing. So what I've got going on here, again, I've got a 5-piece neck, 2 pieces of quartersawn maple on the outside, 2 pieces of Murado, and down the center, I've got a real thin strip of that same Murado. And the reason I did that, I thought it would be cool to play around with some white and dark veneer on this guitar. I think it's going to make for a really interesting neck. So once we get the Doc's neck blank glued up, we'll keep on filming and we'll glue this neck blank up as well. Like I said, similar to the giveaway build, which is why I don't want to devote another whole series on the channel to that guitar. I think, you know, as far as the processes go, I think they'll be so similar to the giveaway build that you guys won't be learning anything really. I will update you as to the progress. I'll show it to you from time to time and let you guys know where the 7 and 9 build stands. But as far as making a whole series out of it, I'm not going to do that. All right, I've got my glue out here. I'm going to show you guys this glue so you can get some too, because I've become quite a fan of this stuff. This is a Pell premium wood glue. You can get a 32-ounce bottle of this stuff on Amazon for about 12 bucks. The thing I like about this glue is it dries 100% clear. It's nice and white, so if you need to make a blend of some wood dust and some white glue, what most people refer to as white glue, if you need to make a blend for patching inlays or filling voids or gaps or whatever, this glue is perfect for that because it dries completely clear, translucent. It does not dry white or yellow. So until I find a reason to not use this, this will be my wood glue of choice going forward here at the shop. So I've cut myself a piece of wax paper to go down on here, and I'm not going to use my, my bar clamps. I'm going to glue this neck blank up right here. I'm going to use this surface as my flat edge, and we will clamp down through here, making certain the whole way that we stay nice and flat up against this board right here. I'm going to lay these woods just like this, and we're going to get this going. Now I know everything comes off the pile, lay straight on top of there. I don't want to use an abundance, but I do want enough to get nice squeeze all the way down. And this is that fumed Etimo, and it's curly. It's really beautiful veneer. But, you know, I got it because I couldn't get black here in time. This right here is flamed Anigre, Anigre. And it's lovely, curly. Looks a little like maple. And I've got this neck blank cut to about 29.5 inches. This is going to be a 25-inch scale guitar, I believe. But I want to leave as much of that length on there as I can because I want to incorporate an idea I've got for using a tenon that juts into the body a little bit further on a set neck guitar than you would normally see. It'll allow me to cut the neck pocket just slightly shorter than what the common 3 inches is what you normally see. But I'm going to go with about a 2.5-inch neck pocket length. And I want to start at one end and work my way to the other. And I won't put this under full pressure until after we get a few clamps on here because I don't want to take a chance on it moving on me. We'll make sure we're getting nice squeeze on both sides, and if I've got any question about that, we'll add a couple more clamps. That's going to be really super nice when it dries and I take it out of clamp. I left myself enough thickness on this to where I can remove, you know, up to 1/8 if I need to, and still be able to get my back angle on the headstock. I'm going to do the same thing we did with the other neck blank. I'm going to lay all this stuff just like it's going here. We'll start off with this piece. I'm mainly filming this part so you guys can check out, you know, mainly because of the wood selection. I wanted you guys to see this wood I've decided to use on this guitar. All right, neck blank number 2 for the evening. All right, fun times, you guys. I love building guitars so much. I mean, I know you guys hear me say that all the time. I love building guitars, I do. I'm telling you guys, I'm called to do this. This is what I was meant to do with myself. I unclamped the neck blank, and we now have the final neck blank. It's flat, it's square, it's beautiful. This is going to be an absolutely beautiful neck. I'm going to let this sit overnight at least before we do any more work to it and see what happens with it. Make sure it's not going to bow on me or anything like that before we start working on this thing. I also went ahead and jointed our walnut cap for the headstock. I went ahead and jointed it. I think that's going to be just lovely. I got that jointed. I got a nice joint on this thing. It's going to be super nice. And that multi-laminate body with the alder underneath that walnut top set on top of this mahogany is going to allow me to do some really cool bevel treatments. And you guys already know I love the bevel. I'm going to use a solid mahogany body with a curly maple strip down the center, surrounded by 2 fumed pieces of Etimo, then 2 pieces of quarter sawn maple outside of that, 2 more pieces of fumed Etimo, and then, you know, the mahogany on the outside. And I think I'm saying that right, Etimo. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it or not. All right, let's get this glue spread. I'm going to get a glove. We'll do this just like we did the 7 of 9 build. Just different woods. This is just a strip of some lightly flamed maple that I had some fretboards cut out of. And I wanted to make this guitar like a multi-laminate. Anyway, now that I've got some dark veneer, I thought I would play around with, you know, doing a laminate body with some dark wood in it. When you're doing a multi-laminate body like this, you know, don't get in too big of a hurry where you start making mistakes. But you don't want to sit around. All right, so I want to make sure all this is seated. A little bit on that side, a A little bit on this side. See, and squeeze out. That's a good thing. All right, we'll take a little water. And get some of this glue off here. All right, I'm going to put one across the center here. I got squeeze out all the way down. I jointed these boards on the jointer before I started this. So there we go, one body blank glued up. I think this is going to be a beautiful guitar, and I've become a fan of doing this multi-laminate body glue up technique. You know, I've had a couple of people ask me why I do that. It adds character to it, you know. I like it. On this guitar, it's not for any structural purpose or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I think it looks cool. I want this to be a unique instrument. Builds like this are going to help me gain that experience that I need to move forward here at the shop and be able to expand my creativity a little bit by learning some new skills. This wood's not even. This piece of maple that I've got run down the center was slightly thinner than the mahogany was. I've got two hand planes here, and I've recently sharpened both of these blades of paraffin wax on the soles of these planes to make them glide a little bit easier. I've got my straight edge out here. I've got my brush. I've got inline hand sanding board, some metal plate with a hardwood handle on it that stretches the whole length of that keeps this nice and flat. You can get a really killer flat surface with this thing. I've got 80 grit 3M green core sandpaper on this block. It's got a thin layer of pliable but firm flexible material right there. It's like a high density foam. And as you can see, I'm taking ribbons with this old plane here, and I just want to take this down a little at a time. And a lot of guys won't use a hand plane. You know, I like them because they're not as noisy. It allows you, if you don't have a planer that's large enough to feed this whole body blank through, which I don't. My planer's a 12.5 inch. This body blank's about 13 3/4 wide. So I can't feed it through the planer. The back of this turned out really nice. I've got a little bit of dip right here that I can easily get rid of with the sander. I really don't even have to plane this. We're staying pretty flat. I'm a little low over here. So what I need to do is just keep going. Just feeling my way through this. Again, I am not a plane master. Everything's flat. We're at about 47 millimeters thick. We're going to start splitting off and doing individual process at this point. Tomorrow, what I plan on doing, we'll save it for the next video, but I'll go ahead and let you guys know. I'm going to glue up both of these tops and get them somewhere I can keep them nice and flat. We're going to get to work on the neck is what we're going to do first. Because what I would like to do on this neck, I'm going to use a template just for the perimeter shape of this neck, and mainly just for the sides from the nut up to the end of the heel. Because I've got a plan to do a little funky deal with the tenon. Since this is going to be a set neck guitar, I'm going to try something that is a hybrid kind of a design. The main part of the heel will be a standard set neck design, but I'm going to have a tenon that's about 3 inches long, 3.5 inches long, that juts under the neck pickup of this guitar. And behind that, in the back of the body, I'm going to do one ferrule and one bolt into a threaded metal insert, and I will use a substantial threaded metal insert like an M6, and we will bolt that tenon through the body. That way we get really killer contact with the whole face of this of the bottom of the neck heel to that body wood. And I've got a feeling That may increase the sustain a little, and it also may give us a little bit better tonal transfer. And considering this is going to be a semi-hollow body guitar, I think that may serve as a huge benefit for us. So we're going to find out, because that's what I think I'm going to do on this guitar. Plus, I haven't seen that done really, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll look cool. You're going to look at it and be like, what's that bolt for? But you'll realize what it is because you guys are watching me build it. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this video up right here. We've gotten a lot of work done today, or in the past couple of days. We got the neck blank glued up. I got all my wood selected. We got the top sets. Yes, I said sets. We're using 2. I got the alder jointed. I got the walnut jointed. Our body blanks glued up. We got our headstock, book match headstock plate jointed. I got the neck blank dimensioned and surfaced and glued up for the 7 of 9 build. So we've made some really good progress today. I'm really impressed with it. I was feeling like I didn't get that much work done, but I started looking at all this stuff that I got done, and the neck blank turned out just beautiful. I love this thing, and I can't wait to get started on this. But I think right here is a good place to drop this video. So I hope you guys will keep coming back to the channel and check out the progress I'm able to make on this build. I will be starting my Great Guitar Build-Off project on April 1st. I will be giving you updates on the 7 of 9 build as we go through and get the doctor's build underway. So stay tuned for that, you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you like what I'm doing, hit that like button as well. And until episode 2 of the Figure 8 build, you guys, peace and love.